What's up everyone and welcome back to Woods Fab TV. I bet a lot of you thought that I forgot about this engine sitting over in the corner, and the answer is no. Once a month I got a reminder from the credit card company that I owe money still on it. I got 24 more payments on this guy and it'll be all mine. Today we're going to take this 530 horse LS3, we're going to mate it up to the Chevy 4L65 transmission, then we're going to take the pair and install them in this 1961 Cadillac. And then from there we're going to build some engine mounts and a transmission crossmember. Let's get to it. Let me grab a few tools and some gloves and we'll get to work on it. Let's start right here with these motor mounts. Universal engine mount kit, LS engine right here, energy suspension. And basically what you have in the kit, which should be your passenger side plate, you have a driver's side plate, you got a set of motor mounts on rubber to try to stop the vibration, and you got your bolts. First thing we'll need to do is we'll need to attach the engine plate to our LS3. It's gonna go something about like that. Then our engine mount will attach here. Basic torque specs, which are always nice to have. So cool, so we'll start installing it. I'm not used to having something so straightforward. You mean all I gotta do is bolt it on? And to top it off, there's directions and torque specs? This engine install may be a piece of cake. The f, dude? Well, that's fun. The bolts actually hit the casting of the motor. The bolts that come with the kit that are designed to go on this motor don't fit. It's gonna be a piece of cake. Yeah, right. It's never nothing easy when it comes to building cars. This is what happens when I try to be positive. This is the end result. This is why I gotta tell you kids out there, never be positive about life. See what happened here? I was positive about something and then it didn't fit, it didn't work, the bolts were too long. Negativity is the way. If you stay negative your whole life, nothing will ever disappoint you. I know I got some bolts here somewhere. These are all bags of parts that I've taken off of the Cadillac, so it's not like I'm really stealing here. These are all left over from the car anyways, right? There's one, there's a 3/4 right there. There's two, there's three. Yeah, we got four, sweet. Problem solved, we found bolts. The 3/8 16x1 bolts, and you need 3/4. Just know if you buy this kit, it's not gonna fit. You know, why would you expect some kit to fit when you just spent money on it? It wasn't cheap either, to be honest with you. Anyways, moving on. So clearly I'm just in a bad mood today. I mean, it's just a couple of bolts, right? It's not that big a deal. If this is the worst problem I have throughout this engine install, this is all gonna go fine. Whew. Not a bad little kit. It's clean, should look good. Ta-da! We're rocking and rolling now. One's done and one more to go. Okay, engine mounts are on and secured. So next we're gonna put on flex plate. So I brought the cherry picker back in. We'll hook back on here. We'll lift it up, we'll install it, and then we'll go from there. There is a contour to the flex plate here, as you can see. It curves one direction. You want to make sure the curve curves out and pushes the flex plate closer to the motor. And the reason I know that is because I Google searched it, just to confirm. Back in the day, how did we ever build anything before we had the internet? I mean, did you have to read a repair manual? Gross. Look it up, make sure. That can't be right. That's sitting on the motor. Okay, disregard everything I just said. And this brings me to my next point. You should never get your car info from the internet. There's a lot of fake news floating around out there. I've now confirmed that the contour faces towards the inside. It's also stamped engine side on the other side, but it's real small font. I'll be honest with you, I did not see it. Just didn't want to put the flex plate on. Well, it's a sad day at Woods Fab. We found out today that I'm not perfect. It's heartbreaking. Why do these bolts look like they're the wrong length? I'm almost positive these ain't gonna work. Man, I'm batting zero today. These bolts are too long because they're clearly for a flywheel and not a flex plate. It's not that big a deal. I'll hit my local auto parts store and pick up the correct ones. It's just a matter of the lost time. We got bolts. And now they have the correct length bolts, I'm gonna go ahead and get them installed and torqued to the proper specs. Delivery. Yeah, new transmission. All right, so this has been in my storage shed now for a couple months. I'm very excited to break it out and uncrate it for y'all. This is a 4L65 built by Monster Transmission out in Tampa, Florida. Anytime I have a project, they're my first call for any of my transmission needs. They always come through. They make a very high quality product, and the best part, they back 100% of what they build. So for you guys out there, I highly recommend if you need a transmission, call Monster Transmission out in Florida, the best in the industry. Anyways, I'm gonna get this uncrated, we'll get it mated up to the engine, and we'll start mocking it up in the car and see what we're looking at here. We got a torque converter, transmission fluid, dipstick, which is ironically what my dad called me when I was a child. Explains some of the adult trauma. Just kidding, just messing around. He called me some awful things, but he didn't call me a dipstick. We have a transmission. Sweet. The guys over at Monster Transmission, I sent them a couple photos of the car when I reached out to them, and they even went as far as painting the transmission red for me because they knew all the interior is red and the engine's red, so very sweet of them. Thanks, guys. Feels like a nice day for a white wedding. Let's go ahead and marry this LS3 and this 4L65 together. Now that Mr. and Mrs. Power Plant are happily joined together, we're ready to lay them in the car and start figuring out our mounts. Engine and transmission slid into this car with no problems. To get this engine and transmission to fit, we need to notch the front crossmember. But luckily for us, the previous owner thought one day he may LS this car, so it's already been done. So that's gonna save me a bunch of time on this install. Yo, what's up?
Man, way to wait for me.
You're too slow, dude. That's
Hey,
what to do.
traffic.
Motor's sitting in there. I got the trans bolted on. I left the torque converter and everything out for now. I didn't see the point in filling that up and sticking it in there. So now I just need to figure out where exactly the motor needs to sit. I think it's back a little too far right now, which is fine. We'll put the core support back on. We can set the inner fenders in here just so we know exactly where it sits if we think we need it, but really the core support will just sit here at the end. And then we can kind of figure off that. We get the measurements for the front runner kit, for all the accessories, and then I got the radiator, which the new one will be another 4-core, just as thick. And as long as we have a little bit of fudge room in between, 2-3 inches for the electric fans, we should be good. But I think right now the motor's sitting a little low and needs to come up just a hair. But Cory's a longtime buddy of mine, and sometimes on his day off he comes by to lend a hand, which I think is great, so we get to spend some time together and hang out. And most importantly, some more free labor. One second, pull this off of here. There we go.
And those bracelets.
Yep, so those little gears. So what we're talking about here is we're trying to figure out exactly how far forward we can go with the motor. The concern is we're gonna rock the Holley front runner kit on this guy, and it's gonna stick out, according to their literature, 7 5/8 of an inch. But the hope here is to come forward with the motor inch and a half to where that should give us more clearance in the transmission tunnel and the back of the block on the firewall, which then we can lift it up a little bit to clear oil pan, trans pan, that sort of thing.
Exhaust.
And exhaust. Exhaust is a concern right now too, good point. Don't measure once, don't measure twice, measure as many times as possible. There's a lot of math that goes into doing an engine swap like this on an old car, and you really want to make sure that engine is in the ideal prime spot. That way later when you go to bolt all your accessories to the engine, everything clears and fits properly. If you're not careful, it can come back to haunt you. All right, so after quite a bit of back and forth, the issue with this universal engine mount kit is it's not sitting over far enough in line with where the factory mounting point was on the Cadillac frame. And we did some research online and looked some different stuff. I see people butchering up the frames and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want to do that. It's too nice a car. Plus the chassis is already powder coated. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to remove this kit. I'm going to rebuild this. This is actually 3/8 thickness, which is probably overkill in my opinion. I'm going to remake it out of 1/4 inch. We're going to come over another 2 and about 1/4 inch longer, which should put our motor mount right over the factory spot, which should land us perfect for building a single pin piece that sits like the factory mounts did, that'll bolt on the bottom and it should all line up. So I will, out of the kit, reuse the motor mounts. I'll keep all the rubber and stuff off of that. I'm just going to rebuild the plates basically, and we'll go from there. So this would be the driver's side. There's the original plate set and how much it offset the motor mount. And there's how much the new one will push it over. So a difference of a little over 2 inches. So we will drill and tap these other 2 holes, and then we'll get these motor mounts in, and hopefully we'll get an idea on where the motor's gonna sit. Cory's installing the other one right now, but just basic mount, offset it, pushed it over, bolt it in the car, and see how they look. So I think what we decided to do here, we're gonna build a flat plate that sits on top. It's gonna curve down the back. I may use the factory mounting point, I may not, I'm not sure yet, but I'll probably use that and a couple other bolts that'll hold it down. And then I got some material, hold one second. This is 3/4 inch 120 wall that'll fit a 1/2 inch bolt perfectly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim this up. It's gonna be our centerpiece here. The bolt will actually slide through and go around these ears on this tab here, right? This will attach down to our bottom plate. And when you drop the motor and just slide right in, be able to slide a bolt right through it, done deal, should hold it. Okay, we've got our sleeve all set up, bolts in there, plates clamped on. So we're going to throw a couple tacks on this. Then we'll go over to the other side, throw a couple tacks on that side. At that point, we'll probably take a couple measurements and make sure that we're hopefully still sitting where we want to be. We'll get both the engine mounts roughed in, and then we'll move on to the transmission mount, and then we'll come back to the engine mounts and do some fine tuning and beef them up. We need to get the tail shaft lifted back up, and we need to kind of figure out what all is hitting here and see how far we can move it. So all we're trying to do right now is we're marking the trans tunnel a couple different spots, and we're gonna take a air hammer and try to move it up, just massage it a little bit. The hope is just to move it probably a 1/4 inch, because this is pretty close to where we want the transmission to sit. We want the transmission to sit as far up in the tunnel as it can. So we just want to make sure it's not vibrating and rubbing against it. So we'll let it back down, we'll pull the motor and trans back out. We'll try to massage those spots and we'll go from there. You know, it's a funny term you hear quite a bit around LS and these Cadillacs, and it's massaging the transmission tunnel. Just know there's no such thing. Basically, it's a nice, kind way of saying they're gonna beat the piss out of it with an air hammer. There's no massaging involved at all here. If you were paying for a massage like this, you would ask for your money back and you'd leave an awful review, because it's very aggressive and very abusive. I think I saw this somewhere in the service manual, right? That's how you service the transmission tunnel?
Yeah.
And just like that, our trip to the day spa is complete. Our massage is over. So now I'm gonna get this engine and transmission back in there. I'm gonna get it all centered and where it needs to sit. Then I'm gonna take a few measurements, make some templates, and start cutting some steel. Now that I have the basic shape of my transmission crossmember built, I'm going to take the factory transmission crossmember and just recreate the mounting points off of that. I'm gonna go ahead and slot the holes. That way I have some adjustment with the transmission. Crossmember is built, so now I'm gonna build a spacer that's gonna hold the transmission at the proper height. All right, so just like that, transmission crossmember is built. One thing I still need is I need a couple bolts here for the bottom of the mount. Ones I have aren't long enough, not a big deal. I'll grab those next time I'm out. Then I'm gonna grab some shorter fine threads to go on the frame here, since as we saw, these ones are insanely long. Overall, I think it came out pretty nice. It's probably a little over-engineered, but whatever, it looks nice. It'll be nice and strong, and it'll do its part. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the car back down, go back up to the front, and start working on the front engine mounts. So I've just been taking some measurements and seeing if I'm happy where the engine's at. And I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm not. It's close, but it needs to go a little bit further. My concern right now is the degree of the engine. It's currently at about 6 degrees. Would like to normally see about half of that. So you would think I'd just be able to lower it down, right? Here's the problem. My motor mount's already pretty much laying on the frame, so I don't have a whole lot more room to go down per se, at least not the way we got it currently set up, if we're using the factory mounting points. My other concern is the oil pan's getting pretty close to the ground. It's measuring that I have a little bit of room to come down, but how much I don't know. So until I can get the car outside, put a battery on it so I can operate all the electric air valves in the car, air the thing down, get underneath there and actually measure it and see where it's sitting. Proof's gonna be in the pudding. Currently, if I air it out and the oil pan's smashing the ground, we know we got a bigger problem. If I go out there and air it out and I got an inch of space, well then I'll just remake these motor mounts in the front, bring it back down, and problem fixed. That'll fix the degree, while plenty of clearance. Anyways, you get the point. Even though there's only half a car sitting here, this car is still very heavy. And to top it off, the driveway out front is slanted. So I'm gonna get my kid, he can loan me a hand, and we'll just slowly try to get this guy off here, lay it out, we'll see where we're at. When doing an engine swap like this, there's a few reasons you may be concerned on the degree of the engine, but the big one is the U-joint angle. If you put those U-joints at too extreme of an angle, they're gonna vibrate, they're gonna make noise, and they're gonna slowly come apart. We don't want that, so it's super critical right now that we get this in the right place. We do it once, we do it right, and it's done. Oh, stop. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, slowly let it go back. We just don't want it to get away from us. It's still a lot of car. Do you agree with me this feels like a bad idea right now?
Is this an OSHA violation?
Everything around here is an OSHA violation. We ramped over that guy. Okay. Go grab that block right there. I got it, I think. Hurry, grab the block quickly. Quickly grab the block right there. Put it in back of the tire, back of the tire. Could you imagine if I lost control of this tuna boat and went crashing through my neighbor's front door? I didn't even know what I would say. Oh, sorry, my insurance will pay for it. I wouldn't even know who to contact. Is that your homeowner's insurance? Or is that your auto insurance that would take care of that? Or maybe both. Man, it's close. Oh, well, the transmission pan's clean, but the oil pan's only about a ½ inch off the ground. I was hoping for more clearance than that. This ain't gonna work. I'll probably just, yep. Okay, I'm good. Let's get it back inside. A great investment for every shop is a winch. If you can mount a winch in the front of your shop so when you have a dead car you can pull it in, it's extremely helpful. Except I don't have one. All I have is a ratchet strap, so I guess it's gonna be ratchet strap for the win. Oh my gosh. No need to go to the gym if you're gonna do activities like that. That was intense. I think we're gonna call it a night. I think we're gonna call it an episode right there. I now know what we need to do tomorrow, and that's the important part. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll see y'all next time. Good Lord. So we got the engine plate, we got the engine mount. It's gonna take two. Okay, that's pretty bad. Don't listen to me, kids. I'm a bad influence. Like Charles Barkley in the 90s. I am not a role model. Or whatever he said. Ow, ow, give it back. This is gross. I want to read. 46 years old, I don't want to read, damn it. I'll build cars. If I wanted to read, I would have got a real job. God, I'm dirty. Ooh, look like I worked today. I'm all dirty. I'm glad y'all could be here on this very special occasion because today's a wedding. We're gonna marry this LS3 to this 4L65 transmission. And who doesn't love weddings? Even the groom. Even the groom loves weddings because it's gonna be the happiest day of his life, right? I don't know how to wink, I tried. Geek, geek. I don't know why I make the sound effect with it.
Why'd you pull the car out?
Because I wanted to run myself over with it because my wife drives me nuts. And I wanted to end it all. And I figured what better way to do it than with a Cadillac.